Welcome, welcome. This is my favorite mortgage podcast. I am Jaimie Booth, a licensed loan officer in Arizona and Texas, and you're tuning into a podcast that lets buyers and sellers behind the curtain of everything that takes you to the finish line in buying a house. We like to bring on local experts, and what's more local than my neighbor downstairs? And we have with us Joe Diaz. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Tell the listeners what's the company you work for and what do you do?
So I work with Comparion Insurance Agency. It's actually an agency that Liberty Mutual owns themselves. So all of your local offices across the United States have all been converted to Comparion Insurance Agencies. So if you can imagine, overnight we went from one, maybe two carrier option to 15 to 20. So
more of a broker.
Exactly. We don't use the broker term because we manage all of the business. We don't just broker the deal and then leave you on your own. We continue to work with you from point A to point Z.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
We met each other a few weeks ago.
Correct.
And you're on the first floor. I'm on the third floor. And I've been, walking past your doors this whole time that we've been here. So I appreciate you coming up. We have a mutual friend who was a guest, and I think he said, you need to go talk to Jaimie.
It was very interesting. I noticed that he was here. I was like, why are you here? Because I'm not here. Are you waiting in the lobby? And he wasn't there. I'm like, well, where are you? And that's what provoked the whole, let's go upstairs and see what's going on.
Yeah. Well, you do homeowners insurance. And for lenders, something that I do that, maybe not a lot of lenders do is once I get a signed, executed contract for one of my pre-approved buyers, I think before I even look at rates, before I even really structure the loan, I am sending off an email and I said I need a quote. And I do that, and I think I showed you my little to-do
Correct.
list. Mm-hmm. It's the second thing, the most, reviewing the contract is the most important, and below that is you guys.
Correct.
And the reason why I do that is if we get this up front, I can disclose a really good, accurate number on their loan estimate, which is going to say, this is how much this premium is, and this is what your payment looks like.
Right.
Because in my world, most loan officers are doing an average of what they're seeing. And then they say, go shop around for homeowners insurance. I take this extra step because you can shop right off the bat for them, but it also gives them an idea of what is out there.
Right.
So then if they do go shop their Allstate, State Farm, they have an idea.
Of what to expect. Exactly.
Yeah.
I've seen it where someone that doesn't do what you do undervalues the cost significantly because there's a lot of factors that get taken into consideration with the rate. And what you end up with is completely inaccurate number that could derail the entire process. The whole loan could be thrown out because now the cost of insurance is significantly higher than you anticipated.
Right. We're not the expert. I'm not going to pretend I know what insurance premiums and rates are. So that's one of the very first steps I do is give me an idea. Like you said, maybe that person's house is in a flood zone. Maybe, they were previous homeowners and they had claims. There's all kinds of different things. And that's what we're going to talk a little bit more about in this episode is why premiums are set where they are. What could trigger someone to have a higher, insurance premium and, claims and things like that. And what you're seeing right now is what we're all hearing on the news. I love the news. It's such accurate information about insurance premium increasing. But before we do that, I have a fun game. A game that we've been playing for quite a long time, and I am just being privy to the backstory of where the game came from. And smash or pass. Guys, if you knew and you didn't put in the comments to let me know, I really thought it was something innocent. And I'm being schooled today on really the significance of smash or pass and where it kind of lies in society. And I had the wrong idea.
But we'll keep it.
We'll keep it.
You own it now.
I guess. Oh my gosh. I was having to deal with some embarrassment because now I started to reminisce of all the episodes we've done where we've played this. Even with my little assistant, my daughter. I'm like, let's play Smash or Pass. Oh my gosh. Okay. You ready?
Ready.
You have a, oh wait, hang on, let me scroll back. Insurance. You have a quote request from a loan officer, and you determine that this is in a flood zone, the house.
Mm-hmm.
Smash or pass?
Smash.
Smash.
I have 4 options for flood. Why wouldn't I take it?
Some people don't want to deal with it.
It's not that big of a deal. I kid you not. People get scared of flood being an add-on. To give you perspective, if you were in a flood zone that was a very highly rated flood zone, it could cost thousands of dollars per year to maintain the level that you would need to replace that home. But I've had manufactured homes that need flood. I've gotten it as little as $150, $200
a year?
Per year.
Oh, that's not bad.
Not at all.
Yeah.
At that point, it's a separate policy that is still in effect. It's covering the entire cost to replace that home and personal property. So,
and if it does get determined, we do a flood certification on the lender side. We have to have it.
Right.
It's not an option.
Even when you think about the cost, normally a lender would never hear a number like that. They're assuming thousands of dollars.
That's exactly right.
Right. So when I come in with, it's only a few $100, it's like,
what a relief.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's not every time. It's been somewhat of a consistency when I've done them more recently, but I have seen rejections, and that can happen where if it's too saturated with the same carrier, they'll reject it just based off the zip code. So it's a gamble. So you can imagine, you're not going to put all your eggs in one basket, otherwise you could lose it.
They want to
limit the risk. Correct.
So you just find someone else.
Right.
Gotcha. All right. Smash or pass. You get a text message from a client that you helped last month, and water is coming through their toilet, their bathtub, and their sink. Smash or pass? You.
I mean, I would smash that still. I take those calls. The number one thing I can tell you is I will take the call to help guide. If I'm not going to show up with a plunger, I'm sorry, it is just not possible. But I will help you figure out what your next step looks like and what you should be doing. Most people who, if that were the case, that's the definition of water backup. Now, if you have a brand new home and that's happening, you have a warranty.
Yeah, the builder warranty.
Even within a first year, most homes do come with a warranty. There's nothing we should be doing on insurance. I'm not 100% a fan of water backup in most cases because we don't live in a place that really would benefit from it. It's very rare that we will see that. And I'll be honest, I've never gotten that call. The likelihood of you seeing that is, and I can kind of foreshadow it, is if we have a lot of mature trees, especially mesquite, in the front yard,
the tree roots,
you're going to be in a bad spot.
Yeah.
No matter what. Something's breaking underground.
And
but the likelihood to do the back up in, not highly unlikely in most cases. So I personally have not seen that. Clients have never called in saying, hey, we've got water coming back in, or sewage in most cases.
Yeah.
So that's still an easy one. It's
Smash.
an easy one.
All right, I'm gonna try to find. Let me see if I had another one for pass. I didn't, but I'm sure I could think of stuff. I have a few jokes, and a few dad jokes. All right, because I don't always tell dad jokes, but when I do, he thinks I'm funny. Did I do this one yet? What do you call a teacher who never farts in public? I did that one. Oh, crap.
Did you?
No. A private tutor.
Oh my God.
I think I was saving that for John because he says his 5-year-old son likes farts. This is going to be a fun one. You know what? I'm just totally thrown off. I'm so thrown off. My mind is just still going through all the smasher passes. That we did. Yeah. But I got to ask you a question.
Sure.
And this has been a hot topic, especially in my household because I make fun of them now. Mm-hmm. How many times do you think of the Roman Empire?
What? Never. Why would I?
Never?
What do you mean? In what reference?
Just anytime. How many times?
And how is this prevalent in your household right now?
It's a TikTok going on. It's a trend. When was the last time you thought of the Roman Empire?
I just saw. I was actually at, and the reason I think of this is, actually no, never mind. That's Greek mythology. Nope. Roman
Joe,
Empire,
how many times do you?
It's not often.
No. So apparently, men think of the Roman Empire like daily.
In what way?
Anyway. Like, so I asked Sean, I said, well, how often do you think of the Roman Empire? And he goes, well, I just thought of them today because they were the ones that invented the aqueducts. And when I was doing that, and I'm like, why are you thinking of the Roman Empire? But this is the thing, you got to Google it or TikTok it.
That just sounds...
How many times do you think of the Roman Empire?
I've never...
Never? No.
Unless...
But ask a girl that. And we're like, why?
Well... I'm not a girl, but I'm still asking why. I'm like, the last time I even thought of that, I was probably watching Gladiator, and I don't even know if that is the Roman Empire. I can't remember off the top of my head.
That one was the Roman Empire.
And that's
that was
the last
Caesar.
time.
Yeah, that was the last time. Joe, for you? Last time you thought of the Roman Empire?
Maybe last week.
Let's see. And
In what way?
What way? A week ago.
Caligula. They go insane by drinking lead and trying to keep lead out of my daughter's life.
Oh, wow.
See, it's the weirdest thing that, and I'm telling you, it's trending. If you go and just say, how often do you think of the Roman Empire? They will think of weird things like, hey, I want to keep my daughter safe, just like, Caligula and the Roman Empire. Like, a girl's never going to put those two together. But men will put it back to the Roman Empire. You'd be surprised.
When was the last time prior to that?
Probably a few more weeks.
Oh my
See?
God.
See?
Is that often?
That's a lot.
It is like weekly, some men daily. But Sean just rattled off about talking about the first aqueducts. And I'm like, what? It's a thing. I'm not kidding. So.
That's super interesting.
So, Joe, thanks again so much for coming on to my favorite mortgage podcast. And we wanted to just kind of talk about maybe a memorable story that involves homeowners insurance, but also let's give some buyers some advice on why we need, as a lender, homeowners insurance and what kind of things does it cover?
So the primary reason you would need it, you coming from the mortgage side, it's technically the bank putting money on the line.
Yeah.
They need to make sure that their investment is protected. So in the event that there is in any way a catastrophe, a loss, that it is not only fixed, but it is not lost and they're losing money.
Right.
That's the point of
Their
insurance.
investment is protected.
So when that transitions from homeowner now owning 100%, they are now protecting their investment. So that is where, whenever I hear this is a waste of money, it's a waste of money if you don't value what you're living in, then 100% it's a waste of money. If you can manage to replace all of those things, manage to fix the property, it's a waste of money. But 99.9% of the time, we've bought into a home that if there is a significant value in financial aspect, let alone any memorable aspect, you don't have enough to replace that.
Right.
So it's not a waste of money.
Yeah. That's a good point, though. You just touched on. So if someone has paid off their mortgage and there's no liens, homeowners insurance is optional.
100%. That's 100% optional. It's up to you as the homeowner to take that upon yourself to keep and maintain.
Yeah.
It's
like
nothing
life
forced.
insurance
Right.
or something like that. You know, car insurance. Well, that's a requirement.
That's required.
Yeah. But again, I mean, some people don't do it. But
That's the
I don't
scary
think
part.
a lot of people, remember that when you have a loan, it's just required. It's just kind of like you have to have it.
Right.
There's no not having it when there's a lien, like a loan. But if you've paid it off, of course you'd want to insure it. What if it
That's a
had the
no-brainer.
kitchen fire or something? Yeah.
Honestly, and this is based off perspective, even if I wasn't in my current role as an insurance agent, all of that makes the most sense to maintain it. If
Yeah.
you purchased a vehicle, let's say you purchased a cash,
You still
there's
want-
no lien. Why would you have liability?
Yeah.
Why would you even have state minimum coverage? The state determined that was the bare minimum, not based off of your income,
Right.
but based off of the very lowest income,
Right.
what they could afford. So most people don't understand that when you start out, yes, you're going to need coverage. It's going to be not necessarily the most coverage you can get for the dollar because you're starting, but you should be reviewing when life changes occur.
And
So-
how many times? Well, when would you suggest someone also just review their insurance policy? Once a year?
Great question.
Every few years?
Now more than ever,
Uh-huh.
there is, and I've heard somebody else say this, the Goodwill Bank, right? You staying with a carrier for longer than a 2-year period
Okay.
is you've more than placed enough eggs in that Goodwill Bank. When you are looking at what is the most beneficial thing for you as the client, the reason review is good after 1 year is most carriers are offering you a 6-month policy on the auto, an annual policy on the home.
Right.
Things change. People take loss. It isn't necessarily you as
Your
the
particular loss.
correct. Loss could have occurred in another part of the country,
Like
but
with
because
fires
that
or something.
carrier, exactly, that
Okay.
carrier took a lot of loss, they're going to spread the wealth.
Yeah.
So if your
The
Goodwill
wealth.
Bank is full, but
Yeah.
you continue to stay and fill that pot up, that's shame on you
for not searching.
checking.
Yeah.
Checking.
Yeah.
So that
So
is
once
where
a year you would
I would
suggest?
advise at least once a year, just review.
Okay.
Because again, life changes happen.
Yeah.
You could have gotten a better job. You could have gotten a new car.
What about credit? Does that come into play?
Credit does come into play. There is such thing as an insurance score. Most people
okay.
don't know that.
No.
So an insurance score is built up of what your past has basically accrued in terms of prior history with insurance companies, how long you've been insured on your own, any lapse in coverage,
Okay.
any claims at all, as well as snapshots of credit along the way.
And then like tickets and
All
stuff
those
like
fun
that.
stuff, yeah.
So then insurance has its own kind of scoring model.
100%.
Okay. And all those things come into play.
And all those things are shared amongst insurance companies. So insurance companies all share that data so that you can't go down the street, lie, and get a better rate
Gotcha.
without them knowing what the risk actually is. It's all risk-based.
Yeah. Yeah. So's interest rates and lending.
Right.
You know, we're fronting a lot of the money and the risk, and it's all kind of relevant. I actually didn't know you guys had like an insurance score, but I just recently did that where I got shopped around, and I called my agent, and I've had that policy since 2018.
That's a long time.
It was a long time.
That's a pre-COVID.
Yes. So I called him and I'm like, hey, look, no offense. I think you're great. I said, but I shopped around. He's like, absolutely, you should. No offense taken. He's like, you probably should have been doing this all along, more recently. So my insurance premiums had kept going up, but they were not impactful enough to where it really hurts. I don't do anything.
What's your definition of non-impactful? Do you have
And
a
it was
percentage?
maybe $50 here, $100 here. It was going up.
So you're talking about auto or home?
It was both.
Okay.
Because I bundled. Because, Flo told me to. So, and then, like I got a new car 2 years ago. And then I just accepted, oh, well, this is a new car. Of course it's going to go up.
Mm-hmm.
So that went up maybe $1,000. And then my husband got a new truck the next year. And then that went up. And I'm like, oh, now we have new vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
But, I send an email to you guys. I'm like, hey, I need a homeowner's insurance quote. And then I see like homes very similar to mine.
Mm-hmm.
Same square footage, very similar. And I'll get these premiums and I'm like, God damn, mine is like double that.
Why haven't we shopped again?
Because I am like everyone else, and I really it doesn't dawn on me until I get my
renewal.
Mm-hmm.
And by that point it's too late.
And
in your head.
In my head, or that, it just slips my mind until it hits my damn credit card.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, ugh. All right, I got a lot of airline miles. But honestly, when I called him, I'm like, please don't be mad. I love you. We're great. And he's like, oh, no. And I'm like, well, then why didn't you be proactive and call me? Because this is 6 years now.
That's a great question.
So, yeah.
I can tell you why he didn't call you.
Why?
If you can imagine, if every month he wrote, let's just use a square number of 50 policies.
Okay.
Every month, consistently for 6 years.
Okay.
And when those are coming due for renewal,
mm-hmm.
if he even got a list, because if you can imagine I have 15 to 20 carriers, not every carrier sends a list.
Okay.
Where would you be on that list?
Oh, yeah.
You're a blip in his line of things to get done that month. So the likelihood of him being able to call you without you reaching out first is slim to none. So you can't get mad at him for that.
No, I'm not. I and he's a friend of mine, and we, he and I have known each other for a long time because we're in the industry. In the industry, and he did homeowners insurance, and at one point I think we were even like officing in the same place.
Wink, wink.
Coincidence? But he, so then I'm like, all right, well then peace out, right? I saved almost $700 a month on my home.
A year?
A year.
I was like, you got a big house if you're saving $700 a month.
No, a year. I saved, I think it was like $6 something. And then on the cars, it wasn't too much, but it did come down a couple hundred. So that really, really was eye-opening that, we need to be talking about homeowners insurance. And, don't be afraid of offending your agent who's been your agent for 10 years and you love them, because bottom line is I saved, nearly $1,000 a year. And it is what it is. And I said, maybe I'll come back to you. And he's like, okay, but I'm really doing Medicare now, so don't worry about it.
Interesting.
I'm like, all right, well, thanks. So that's also kind of touched on, I kind of joked, bundling.
Mm-hmm.
You recommend that?
If it makes sense.
Okay.
So the reason I say that, I've been on both sides of the fence where with Liberty, when we were primarily Liberty, we did have access to one or two additional options, which is still more than what your buddy down the street who's an Allstate Farmers State Farm has.
Okay.
If you come to me,
mm-hmm.
and here's a plug using Canopy Connect, which is a link that I have that gathers all your info for you. It makes it 30 seconds, you're done. And I have everything. If I look at it, and we were in that model where it's only like one, maybe two options.
Mm-hmm.
If we are only looking at Liberty, but you don't qualify for the auto, but you do on the home, if that home policy is the same or even $100 less, is it worth moving everything? Am I going to disrupt your current bundle? And you're now paying more on the auto because we moved the home for $100 savings.
That makes sense.
Or fast forward to the current role, when the same scenario with as many carriers as we have, if you have tickets on your auto and you don't qualify for that carrier that's more prestige
mm-hmm.
on the home, we
rated.
didn't actually bundle you, but I still saved you money on both policies. No brainer.
Yeah.
But
'Cause
if we
that's-
can still do both under one house, under one carrier,
they
you're
like
talking
that.
about potentially a 30% discount,
Yeah.
which is huge.
Yeah.
So it's all 100% about the scenario and the perspective. Because if you have a friend that works where you work in the same building, no pun intended, somebody down the way, and they say, hey, Jaimie, what are you paying for your car insurance? And you say, monthly I pay $150. They're like, wow, we drive the same cars, but I pay $300. I'm being ripped off. But they don't tell you that they have claims, they have tickets.
Right. Yeah.
That's the silliest phone call I've received is that phone call.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we don't know who the other person is,
Yeah.
so why are we talking about what they're paying? It's kind of, this is an odd.
Yeah.
I'm like, do you feel weird about saying that? And they're like, no. I'm like, so let's move on.
I say that with interest rates too,
Exactly.
because there's 24 different factors, and your best friend has a completely different scenario.
Right.
And you guys are buying the same price range, but your rate is this, and then his interest rate is this, but that's because credit.
Insurance score.
Yeah.
It's
Loan
all
value.
different.
Yeah.
It's never going to be the
Interesting.
same.
Well, thank you for letting us in the secret world of insurance scoring. Just another way to score us. We have FICO, Vantage, insurance. Even car loans uses a different FICO model. And, my biggest complaint when it comes to like credit reports is, man, the public cannot get their lending score for free. Like Credit Karma uses Vantage. It's a good gauge, but it's never going to be the score I pull.
No.
Right? You can go to Experian. It's not going to be the score I pull. Why do we make it so hard to find out what your actual lending score is? Why?
To keep you in business.
Nah. God, 'cause I would love to get rid of the credit scoring model, but it's just bizarre. And, they'll say, oh, you can get your annual credit report for free. Well, you can get the report, but it's not going to give you the scores. And if you get the scores, it's going to be which FICO model. And until you actually run a credit report with lending and a
You don't know.
mortgage, you just don't know. But guess what? When I do that, I have to do a hard hit. So it's always frustrated me that we just can't, as a consumer,
Make it easy.
make it easy to get our actual score, so that when I'm saying, do you know what your credit score is? Yes, I pulled it today. It was a 714. Perfect. Nope, we don't do that. Well, again, Joe Diaz with Comparion
Correct.
Insurance, who used to be Liberty Bibbity. Right?
Correct.
Remember that commercial?
Still the mama.
With what is that, an ostrich?
The limu.
It's a lemur.
I think I still have one. I'll try to see if I can find it and I'll bring it to you.
Doug. But thank you again for coming on. It's Friday afternoon. I'm actually gonna take a few days off this weekend. Are you doing anything fun?
Nothing at all.
Nothing?
Nothing planned yet.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming on. And I look forward to doing more business with you.
Definitely.
And we've already been, talking with some clients.
Mm-hmm.
And guys, for anyone out there that has been in your home for a few years, why don't you reach out to me at myfavemortgage@gmail.com, and I'm going to connect you with Joe just to do a courtesy review of your current homeowners insurance and car insurance and bundling to see if it makes sense to switch. Because if you've listened this far, you've heard my experience that I've saved myself over $1,000 a year just by being inquisitive about what does your rate look like. Now, you can follow him below. We'll leave his information. If you like us or follow along, please share this too with anyone that you know that has recently bought a house or is in the current journey of buying a house. Shopping around for homeowners insurance is going to be essential when you're buying a house. And the good thing that I like with you is that you're going to shop around for them.
Right. If you like wasting time, going down rabbit holes,
Right.
Wanting to pull your hair out, no pun intended, continue to do it on your own. Just do it on your own. The problem with that is you're wasting your valuable time. Mm-hmm. You're not getting the best rate, and you're leaving too much on the table.
Right. Right. And calling who you currently have with your car is not always going to be the best thing.
No.
Also, it makes your home buying journey on the lending side so extremely seamless when you work with a local agent, not the 1-800 number through USAA, because if there's a change, we want to close a few days early, or something has popped up, he's getting me stuff super fast, making the changes instead of me hunting down through a 1-800 number or a portal and trying to get this update. It is essential to work with someone local in that aspect. So again, if you know anyone who's buying a home, please like, rate, share this. Give us some love on our YouTube channel. Follow us along. My name's Jaimie Booth. I'm a local lender here in Tucson. Joe Diaz, local insurance agent. Any last word of advice?
If you are buying a brand new home that's being built today, do yourself a favor. Do not just take whatever they suggest. Good. The reason I say that, their interest is to keep everything under one roof. And I've seen those policies, and they are undervalued on the replacement cost. Mm-hmm. Even if it is written through their own agency, through Progressive, it is undervalued. You don't have any additional coverages. You're leaving too much to chance. Yeah. Those homes appreciate so fast, and the cost to rebuild is nowhere near what we're looking at on those policies. So do not take those policies without shopping.
Get a second opinion on them.
100%.
Shoot it over to us, and Joe will just take a look and
we'll make
show
magic
you
happen.
Where the shortages are.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, because this is important. This is super, super important to have. I had a buyer that closed August, maybe July. We had a really bad monsoon last month. Mm-hmm. His entire roof. It was just open.
That is horrible.
Awful. He didn't sleep that night. He was just sweeping out water out of his poor floor. It was devastating.
That's horrible.
Yep. So it really is important. Insurance is so important. All right, guys, that's it for us this time. We will see you next week. I'm Jaimie Booth, licensed loan officer in Arizona, and this is My Favorite Mortgage. We'll see you next time. Bye. So I said to him, hey, when you hear smash or pass, what do you think of? Guys looking at a girl and deciding if she's attractive enough to smash, have sex with. You guys all suck. I had no idea.
I thought you knew.
That is awesome.
I can't believe he never said anything to me.
Oh my God.
Babe, you're supposed to be looking out for me. Damn.